So now I'm going to be in your way. I'm moving anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow through some content. I'm going to talk to you about buying and selling houses. And then we're going to roll on. So I got to turn the clicker on. That's what they say. I guess I should have used his clicker.
Is that going to work for you?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay.
So, disclaimer. I sell franchises, and a franchise is something that you can't go like buy in the back of the room with a credit card or a check. You actually have to get a 300-page document about disclosing and stuff. So I have to tell you what my attorney says. So you can read it if you want, or it basically says, I'm not offering you a franchise. You got to go through a disclosure process, read a boring book, and then if you decide you're an idiot, you can go ahead and buy it. So, anyway. Anybody paying attention?
If you're giving away something free.
Bill, did you see the previous slide?
No, yes I did.
All right. So anyway, that's just how I get y'all's attention. See, that's wrong. I was only supposed to have 30. Make sure you write down my email address, that email address right there, not the email address on my card, slides at timharris.com. At the end of this 39 minutes, I'm going to give you, I'll email you all the slides, the audio of what I'm saying, and any forms and checklists that I mentioned in this. So, are there any veterans in the room? Great. Please stand up. Any active duty? Okay. No. Y'all remember what this is, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember that? All right, everybody stand up.
Okay.
Come on, stand up, please, please. We're gonna. Hey, look. I thought there was going to be a lot more people than this. It was going to be real loud, but we're going to do this with 30, 40, 50, 500. I don't care. This is something I like to do and it's fun, so you're going to participate. So, some definitions. Low means left, yo means your, right means right, left means left, door means the back of a plane, a C-130 is a big plane, strip is a runway, not what you do on Friday night. Another one by my side is the backup parachute. We're going to learn and we're going to sing together. Veterans, I need your help doing this, okay? So what's going to happen is I'm going to say this the way a Marine would as they run down the street, and then you're going to repeat it. Everybody with me? I spelled it out, kept only like 7 words on it, okay? So I'm going to say, yell left, yell left, yell left, there, right, left. Anybody? Never mind, sit down, y'all can't read. We're going to skip that part. That was the 5 minutes that they cut me short. I'll tell you, never mind. Y'all, man, I need more veterans. Where are they all at? So, this is me. I'm a landlord. I'm a former Marine. I'm a wholesaler, owner, financer. I founded the REI Expo, the nation's largest series of real estate investor events. Next one is in 2 weeks in Chicago. Have a couple hundred people. Got some seats, some tickets left. You can feel free to fly up there. It's only like $350 from LA. I'm a speaker. I'm a dad. I'm a football coach for my kid. I'm an emergency medical technician. And I'm a firefighter. Meanwhile, I've bought 1,100 houses in the last 11 years. And I do all that really and truly because I learned how to work hard. So if you want to learn how to do what I've done with no money, here's the formula. Here's what I did for the first 2 years in this business. Fresh out of the Marine Corps, no education, no experience. I got an 80-hour-a-week job working for some dude that did what I do now. And my job was to drive all over the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, locate, contract, arrange financing, manage the rehab, sell and own or finance a house. By the time that was all said and done, I made about $1,000. We did about $60 the first year, but I had to pay all my expenses, so I was on pace to make about $20,000 profit, but they owed me $12,500 when Christmas rolled around, and that was about $12,600 more than I had in my bank account. So I left that job. The next year, I went to work for a homevestors guy in Dallas. It was another 80-hour-a-week job, but this time I made $130,000 that first year, and here's why. What I learned is he told me he would pay me $800 to buy houses the way he bought houses, and he showed me his formula. The problem is that homevestors, we generate a lot of leads. People see the We Buy Ugly Houses, billboards, radio ads, TV ads, we're national, pay-per-click and everything. We generate a lot of leads, and I would go to these houses and I'd be ready to make the offer based off of Bobby Rowan's formula, and the house wouldn't fit. I had to figure out what to do with those extra leads. I'd already spent the gas and the time to get them. So what I did is I started going to REIA clubs. Would you close that door for me, please? That's distracting. So I started going to REIA clubs and I started meeting people, and what I learned is not everyone had Bobby Rowan's formula. This guy sitting next to this guy may pay 20% more, but he may only do it in a certain neighborhood. So what I learned real quick was the more people I know, the more money I could make. And it's been nothing but up from there. I actually left that job after that first year of making $130,000. My dad almost flew in from Virginia to kill me. Because 2 years before that, I left the Marine Corps when I was eligible for a $30,000 tax-free bonus. And like he said, Tim, you could retire when you're 38. Well, I'm 35 now, and I'm still on pace to retire, but not on a $2,000 a month pension from the government. So, we're going to talk about that. But the bottom line is, I like to point that out because so many people contact me and they say, Tim, gosh, I want to buy 100 houses a year. And honestly, most people don't. Most people are not willing to do the hard work it takes to succeed in this business. So what we're going to talk about is mindset. We're going to talk about this business is a means to an end. I'm 35 years old. I've been doing this 11 years. When I turn 40 years old, and actually now it's pacing to where when I turn 38, and that's what I'm focused on, because but I always said 40 at 40. I'll have 40 free and clear houses when I turn 40. And now, these aren't California houses, just so you know. They're in Texas. But the bottom line is, when that happens, I'll make 30, 40 grand a month, depending on vacancy and maintenance and tax and income taxes. I mean, we won't talk about that. But by the time I'm 40, now it's trending towards 38, and I'm really focused on 38. Anybody know why? Just so I can call my dad and say, ha, ha, ha. And now, I'll never retire. Oh, wait. But it's all a means to an end. All the hard work I've done over the last 11 years and I have left to do in the next 2 to 3 years isn't for now. Getting up at 3:30 in Dallas today, which is 1:30 for y'all, we're here on Pacific time, flying here to speak to people and expand my network, expand my name, build my resources, and then I'm leaving here at 3 o'clock, getting on a plane, flying back to LA, hopping on a plane, flying back to Dallas. I land at 11:30 at night. I'll be in my bed at 1 o'clock. But guess where I'll be at 1 o'clock? My bed. My wife and my kids are in the next room. And that's why. That's why I work so hard. To provide something for my family and my kids that I wasn't given. I had one choice when I graduated high school. Move out or join the Marine Corps. Both of which actually involved moving out. But it's hard work, instant success is unlikely, failure is a good thing, and so many people come to meeting after meeting and go on appointment after appointment and look at house after house waiting for that perfect deal. They heard about a 70% minus repairs house or a 75% minus repairs house or a 90% minus repairs house. Whatever they heard about, they're looking for it, and it's 1 or 2% off, and they never pull the trigger, they never pull the trigger, they never pull the trigger, and they've passed on so much opportunity, it's been so much time. People, get your feet wet. They'll never be, I think you've got about 12 to 18 months left of a forgiving market. What that means is in the next 12 to 18 months, you can be an idiot, buy a house, and probably get your money back. But, a little soapbox, and this isn't about parties, this is about politicians. We print $85 billion a month. Last year, we printed $40 billion a month. Stock market's at an all-time high, and anybody know why it shot up last week? They said they were going to keep printing until their paper ran out. And the whole point is, it's fake. We're over $17 trillion in debt as a nation. The national debt for the first time since 1952 is now at 75% of the gross domestic product. The last time it was higher than that, oh, and by the way, now we count things like iTunes downloads in the GDP. How many jobs does that create? But we count it. Half the money goes to Switzerland or somewhere, but we count it. There's a lot of fake numbers out there, people, and you got to start educating yourself on the real economy. I'm telling you, y'all are going to remember me, because it's all fake. How many new jobs were added in the month of June? Any of y'all, what? 195,000 jobs were added in the month of June. Does anyone know why? Did all of y'all get new jobs and all of y'all get raises? Isn't everyone in America making more money? No. Here's what happened. Obamacare was going into play, so what employers had to do is they had to reduce full-time employees to part-time employees. Well, y'all are still going to buy the same amount of hamburgers and still going to buy the same amount of shoes, so what do they have to do with those extra hours? Hire more people. Meanwhile, this year, 300,000 people have lost their unemployment benefits because of the sequestration, and they haven't been extended. But they're not looking for jobs anymore. So they're not counted in unemployed. Learn economics. But here's the beautiful thing. If you go back and do your research, you'll find out that even in the Great Depression, people needed a place to live. I specialize in basic necessities. I don't sell water. I don't know how to sell food. I guess I could be a farmer, but I think that's a racket anyway. So I sell housing. That's what I specialize in. Anyway, you got to realize to get started though, you're going to get what you pay for. Your training may be buying someone's book, tape, or course. Your training may be buying a house and losing $20,000. But the whole point is, eventually you got to do something. And if you're looking for someone to train you for free, you're probably going to get that kind of result out of it. Just my advice. And don't go cheap on attorneys or CPAs, because at the end of the day, when you need an attorney, trust me, you're going to need one. Who's been sued in the last 6 months? Am I the only one? I get sued all the time. Last time was for ad valorem on taxes on a house I never owned. Never owned it. Some lady backed out on the contract. I recorded the contract in the deed records, giving me a legitimate claim to the property the next time they sold it. They never paid the property taxes, just like they backed out on my contract. And so when the big law firm downtown was suing them for property taxes, they just pulled everyone that had any kind of interest in the house, sued them all, including me. Now most people would have sent them the $500 they wanted to non-suit me. Oh no, I sued them back. My attorney got sanctions and got me non-suited. So he got paid by the law firm. I love it. It's abusive litigation. But you have to have people like that on your team, because if you don't have them right now when you need them, that's not when you want to be getting them. So let's talk about some personalities. Red people are type A personalities. We'll talk about where they fit in. Blue are thinkers, counters, people like that. Or thinkers. Yellow people are talkers. I'm not really a talker. That's why I talk fast, because I've got something to do and I got to leave. And in green people are counters. Counters are engineers, accountants, those people that should never be the one in the field making a purchasing decision on a house. Because everything will never line up. It'll never line up. What if they're a couple $100 off on the comps? Oh my gosh, they can't make a decision. So you got to get people on your bus. The green person, picture a tour bus. The green person's the mechanic. You don't take the mechanic on your bus. You leave him in the back. You leave him back in the barn, because what happens when you need a mechanic, when the mechanic's on the bus, every little sound he hears, oh, pull over, I better check that. Oh, something's wrong, slow down. You're going too fast. You got to have a navigator, someone strategic, that blue person. In this business, you have to be looking out beyond. You cannot just simply look at the comps now. A lot of people, a lot of appraisers, one of the things they're doing now, everyone's always heard 6 months back on sold comps. They're down to 3. Some of them are saying 2. Because they're afraid that when you go to sell the house or go to refi the house, that there won't be any more comps left. So they're making you have 2 months worth of comps. That way, if it takes you 4 months to get out of the house, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac underwriting guidelines, because the government money is always the dumbest, the slowest, and the last to change. So they're basing that on, if they can get out in 4 months, those last 2 months worth of comps are still going to be good. Which just tells me that a lot of the private money lenders are pretty smart. Tour guide. This is the guy you got to have in your business that talks a lot. Picture the guy that's in the bus and he just wants that microphone. He just wants to tell everyone, look to your left, there's Linda Pliagas. Out the window to your right, it's the Pacific Ocean. The driver, that's me. I drive, not come. It's kind of like, everybody get in, let's go. It's time to go. If you don't get on. But you got to remember, and then dispatch is all the colors. Anybody know why? You got to have a coach in this business. You got to have a mentor. You got to have someone telling you where to go. You can't just aimlessly drive around the streets. I mean, you can, but you're not going to get a whole lot done. Oh, and an important thing, get the right people on the bus, get them in the right seat. And remember, buses make stops. So if you hire someone or you retain someone or you start following someone and they're leading you astray, stop the bus. Tell them, sir, this is your stop. Let them get off the bus, get someone else on the bus in that seat that has the right personality for that seat, and move on. One of the best pieces of advice I was ever given was a piece of advice that said, hire slowly and fire quickly. So the reason that went off is actually, I've got a property that's being auctioned off right now, and the auction finalizes in 5 minutes, and I have to check it right now. It's at 80. Okay. So I'm going to keep refreshing this because it finalizes. It's on auction.com, and it finalizes. And if they need me, I don't need to check it. I'll just turn the ringer on. If it rings and it's auction.com, I will take it because. What?
This is a buyer for the house, right?
This is a buyer for the house. So.
That house is sold.
Want to know about the house I bought yesterday? Okay. How many houses do you think I'm looking at today? Someone guess.
25.
6. I'm looking at 6 houses in Dallas-Fort Worth today. How many do you think I'm looking at tomorrow? None. It's Sunday. I don't work on Sunday. But how many am I showing tomorrow? 2. My sales guy is. Because I have a team. I have a very well-oiled team. And this team always starts with you because you have to accept that you're going to have to be the pitcher. Because for baseball game to start, what has to happen? The first pitch. It always, no matter what, if someone doesn't take that ball and throw it, nothing can happen. And that's the truth behind this business. You've got to have a mentor, someone telling you which pitch to throw. You've got to have someone. Now, a mentor, folks, you don't have to pay them. They could be someone that you can provide a service to, that they can provide a service back. Just be careful. There's a lot of shady people out there. You got to have a good legal counsel on your team. You have to have an accountant CPA. You've got to go ahead and line up a title attorney, title company. You need to understand title laws. Some of the best deals in this business are deals with challenging title issues. And if you educate yourself on the front end, when they call you and say, I don't know what to do, most money I've ever made on a house is over $70,000. I live in Texas, people. We don't make $200,000-300,000 like you people. 19 heirs. I sat down with them. They said, we owe $53,000. We'll give you the house if you can help us sell it. They didn't have the money for the taxes, the upkeep. It was getting tagged. It was going to be demolished. They were scared. I said, no problem. Sign here. You got to have those people on your team before you need them. You need as many lenders as you can meet. You can never run out of money. I'm not saying you got to use it all, but you need to have it ready. I can close on any deal in North Texas Monday morning, right now. I can tell y'all, and that's not without my cash. It's all about networking. You got to know people. Several general contractors. You need a coach, a consultant, someone that's just kind of guiding you down the road. And you need a sales representative because at the end of the day, you need to be able to sell what it is you buy because that's ultimately how we make money. Advertising, either way you're going to pay. You got to understand this. If you want to buy single-family houses, either way you're going to pay. You're going to pay a wholesaler markup. You're going to pay a competition premium, MLS, or like these idiots that are bidding on this auction house. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. I mean, it's a competition premium. I say they're idiots, but they've got a strategy. It may be different than mine. I don't care. But they're going to pay a premium because they're bidding against other people. You're going to buy leads if you go to, 1-800-SELL-NOW or 1-800-CASH for houses or No Agent or whatever. Or, they sell you leads. Or you're going to purchase advertising to generate leads. Or you're going to go out and door knock and door hangers or whatever. Either way, you're paying. You're paying with your time, or you're paying with your money, or you're paying with an increased price of the property. We don't have time for you to read this, but the bottom line says if you're gonna advertise, it has to be a minimum of a 6-month strategy, and if you're not disciplined enough to stick in it for 6 months, don't even start. It's kind of like this thing that I like to drink, and it gives me a great reason to drink it. First time I ever saw one of these, I didn't go grab it. The next time I saw one, I didn't go grab it. I saw someone with it. I didn't go grab one. I actually drank Monster Energy at that time. And I won't even tell you the story about how I got hooked on those. But what happened is eventually I was going home one afternoon and I was probably tired. I probably had a long day. And I probably remembered that I had a 10-year-old and a 1-year-old at home. They don't know what tired means. My wife doesn't know what tired means. Well, it is 11 o'clock, so I guess it didn't sell, so I'm just going to turn it off. I set the reserve high enough that if it didn't sell for a certain number, we're just going to fix it up and sell it. But let's talk about advertising, the way it works with motivated sellers. Number one, the numbers have to work. You're going to get people that call you and they're going to tell you all their sad stories. They're going to ask for charity. They're going to ask you to please, 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 please help. They will suck every ounce of time out of your life that you give them. If the numbers don't work, move on. One of the things my franchisees hate to hear me say, I've got 3 questions if you call me about a house. What's it worth? What's it need? What can I get it for? If you start telling me about Mary Jane and her, I don't care. If you're asking me advice on the house, what's it worth? What's it need? What can I get it for? In certain markets, what will it rent for? Other than that, if you don't have the answer to those questions, we're done. You can send me the lead and I'll go buy it. There's no such thing as a selling now list. There's no list you can buy that you can send advertising to and they're all going to call and say, oh my God, I've been waiting for Eric to send me a postcard. Please come by my house. It's an exercise in consistency because what happens, just like with this Red Bull, I finally had a trigger event. I saw the product that I had been exposed to and I needed it. So I purchased it. You can send a letter to someone whose husband just died. Well, we'll go down. Family, if there's a divorce. Guess what? If they haven't even went through mediation or gotten a court order approval to sell, they're not going to call you yet. They're still trying to figure out who gets the dog. They're not going to call you about the house. If someone just got laid off, the first thing they do isn't sell their house. They try to get a new job. They try to refinance. They try to go through a loan mod. They go all through all that. Dead people don't need houses. But they don't immediately, the family doesn't go to the funeral and then go back home and say, let's call these ugly house people. It takes some time. Just like my probate list. I send them a letter, 30 days later they get a postcard, 30 days later they get a postcard, 30 days later they get a postcard. Guess which one works the best? I don't know. Because I'm going to mail all 4 pieces no matter what. I don't even go back in and take the name off the list if I bought the house. Because to me, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to spend my time for 28 cents. It's just not worth the time. So, fumigation. Anybody ever bought a cat house? You will. And then fun. Man, I get people when they've worked their tail off for 30 years, same thankless job, only to get replaced by some young buck for half the money, and they're done. They never have taken care of their house. They have no option. I had one dude, he called me, he said, I'm moving to Galveston tomorrow. I said, you ever been to Galveston? I mean, you can go to South Padre and it's better than Galveston. He went to Galveston. We worked out a deal. He left the next day. I had to FedEx stuff to him in Galveston. Hard to even find a title company down there. But anyway, I mean, the point of marketing is getting your message in front of people until they have a trigger event that will make them need to sell or be motivated. But if the numbers don't work, they can be as motivated as they want. You ain't going to buy the house. It doesn't work that way. If your number's 200 and they owe 300 and they don't have a way to bring money to the closing, they can't borrow the money, guess what? Move on. Send them to a short sale building.
What is the no selling now?
Well, there's just no such thing as it. Everybody's like, well, which list should I mail? I want to do direct mail, but I've got a limited budget. My whole point is every list is good if you're going to be consistent about it. But if you're going to mail the probate, then mail the bankruptcy, then mail the pre-foreclosure, then mail the tax liens, and then mail the people that got in a wreck, and then mail the fire damage list, I just watch you new investors. I watch it. It's almost comical. And it's almost comical because if you would just be consistent about something, spend a little money, you would actually be successful. And then you get all negative in your mind, and then when someone does call you, you're like, well, you're probably not going to sell anyway. Then they call me, and they're like, yeah, that other dude was a jerk. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'll buy your house today. All different kinds of ways to advertise. The only reason that I have this slide up here is bandit signs. I say this, and I don't like to make people upset, but I speak my mind. I hate bandit signs. I think they're junk. Personal opinion. If you're going to use them, get permission to put them where you put them, or follow your city ordinance, put them out, pick them back up. You're littering otherwise. It makes our industry look like a bunch of jokers. And then people wonder why code enforcement doesn't like us and they red tag us and won't give us a green tag. Well, they spend all morning picking up the bandit signs for the weekend. Then they show up at my rehab project and they associate me with the bandit sign guy. I'm like, no, I got billboards. It's cool. Just don't use them. And if you're going to use them, get permission to put them out on private property, not on public property. And then go back and pick them up so that you're not littering, so that you don't make this industry that's been very good to me and my family look like a joke. Please. If you're on a limited budget or know how, direct mail is the simplest, most easy way to begin to generate leads. If you send me an email, I'll be happy to send you some information on how to direct mail. I've got a little 1-hour class. You have to ask for it. You can't just say, send me the stuff. You got to remind me. I recommend you target houses that are 70 to 90% of the median home price of your area. So, if the median home price, meaning half the sales are above and half the sales are below, is $300,000, what are we targeting? 210 to 270? Exactly. That's the best house to target, because if you can buy a house that's worth $270 in a $270,000 in a $300,000 neighborhood, guess what? Plenty of buyers for it. Plenty of buyers for it. It's when you get to $350 in the $300,000 neighborhood that you start having problems. Stay at 70–90% of the median home price. If you don't know what the median home price is, contact a local realtor, get them to do it. Start at 10 years ownership or more. These are numbers that you can use on a website called listsource.com. So what you do is you type in your zip code where you want to target, you type in the medium, your price ranges, and you type in length of ownership, 10 years, 10 to 20 years, 20 to 30 years, whatever. And then if you've got a budget to mail 1,000 pieces a month at 50 cents, if you've got a $500 budget, which isn't going to get you a whole lot of places, but it may work. Then what you do is you need 1,000 pieces to mail, so you whittle that list down and you get, you may go at 30 years or more ownership. Because if they own it for 30 years, they probably got equity. Don't buy the equity list from ListSource. Their algorithm doesn't really work, and then they overcharge for it. We got to move on. So don't target an area that's way too far away from you. Okay? If you live in Santa Barbara, don't target Orange County, because you're not going to drive down there 4 times a week. And here's the way it works. Eric has a house. Eric sees the roof leak. He watches it leak. 5 years later, it still leaks. 10 years later, still leaks. 15 years later, his wife finally, no, I can't say that about him. 15 years later, he hits the lotto and decides he's moving. He's got 20 minutes. That roof's been leaking for 20 years. A motivated seller, they're ready to sell. They're ready to sell now. They don't have time for you to say, well, I can get down there next Tuesday. You put them off a week, someone like me or Richard or Mark are going to have the contract by tomorrow. So restrict your area somewhere. If you're going to be leaving from your office to go look at houses, mark it near your office. Does that make sense? Anybody not catching that? All right. Moving on. What do you offer? The objective of this business is to buy real estate at a price where you can sell it for a profit. Don't be lazy and operate off of antiquated formulas. 70% minus repairs, 75 minus repairs, 65 minus repairs. That stuff's irrelevant to sophisticated investors. Learn to analyze cap rates. Learn to do the math if you're planning on being a wholesaler. The best wholesalers are well-capitalized, intelligent people. Because what they know is okay, if I'm going to sell this house, it's a fix and flip house. If I'm selling to a guy that's using hard money, I'm going to have to sell it at this price. If I'm selling to a guy that's using bank financing, it's got to be at this price. If he's got private money, it's going to be at this price. If he's got cash, it's going to be at this price. You've got to learn how to do the math to back into the numbers to milk the absolute most out of the deal. Because, listen, I say sell houses at 92 cents on the dollar if someone will pay it for you, pay you for it. Not your job to run their business. Your job to take as much money home to your family. Just don't lie. Tell the truth. Real numbers. Disclose. They want to pay 100 cents on the dollar. Sign them up. Sell them too. We don't have time for this because I went a little long, but like I said, I'll email you this. These are just some what we found national averages to calculate rehab. Bottom line is, don't ever put a house, if you're a wholesaler, don't ever say a house needs less than $10 a foot in rehab. An experienced investor just deletes your email, puts you in the spam folder. These are national average from the Home Depot, and if you want, we can send you this. This will be in the slide deck if you email me. And these are actually longhand, like $2 a foot for paint, $2 a foot for flooring, $3 a foot for roof. Talks about redoing bathrooms. That's $2 a foot for the bathroom square footage. Was that? Oh no. And the next is something that will save you some money. Learn to calculate after repaired values, and learn these things down here at the bottom. They're called white elephant issues. Okay? Things that affect the value of the house that are not the house itself. If it backs up to a busy street, if there's high tension power lines behind it, if there's a drainage ditch behind it. All these things are, you've got to learn to take some standard deductions. Talk to a local appraiser. Because what's 10% in Dallas County, where I'm from, may not be 10% in Tarrant County, which is Fort Worth, 20 miles away. Because the houses in Tarrant County sell for about 15–20% less than the houses in Dallas County. So it may actually only be a 5% deduction. These are averages. These are rules of thumb. The more you educate yourself about your local market, which is why I say start small, something you can understand and master, the more money you can make. You may not be able to do as many, but you'll be daggum good at your market. We already talked about this. All right, I need a volunteer. Anyone? Okay. So, we don't actually have time for the example, but I'll give it to you anyway. And you can have this one too. All right, you can open them later. Don't start tearing into it right now. Yeah. All right. This was where I was supposed to be at 1050. Looks like the house, only one active bidder. Sold at 105. Huh? Hang on a second. I think my house sold. All right, so we're going to keep talking while we wait for this guy to answer. So about HomeVestors, we began franchising in 1996, bought over 52, it's over 55,000 houses now. We're on pace to do about 3,200 this year nationwide. Probably more than that. We actually, it's going so gangbusters right now, it's hard to even keep up with. If you're interested in starting a business, like I said, I'm not about to ask for this at the back of the room, but it's 15 grand for an associate franchise. The only difference in an associate franchise and a full franchise is you actually have to pay a royalty fee to earn your way up to full franchise. That royalty fee goes for, you pay me, that royalty fee is for me and for Mark McKellar back there to support, train, and educate you. And we've got a franchisee here that sold a house today, and you can find him, and he'll tell you how much he made on it. We're not allowed to talk numbers, because that's an earnings claim, and we're regulated by the Federal Trade Commission, so I can't tell you my cost per lead or what I made. I go to jail. I did that when I was 17 and decided I didn't want to do it anymore. So anyway, you get me. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to tell you, you need to learn to adjust your thinking if you're not currently doing what it is you're interested in. Don't tell yourself you can't flip a house because you don't have the money. Start telling yourself, if I had $20,000 more, I would flip a house. And then you've got to learn to adjust it and really focus at it and work towards, when I have $20,000 more in January, I will flip a house. You've got to learn to set goals, and you've got to learn to drive towards those goals. Those goals have got to be in front of your face every morning when you wake up. You've got to live it with a purpose. Hey, Rebecca. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you guys. That year I bought 111 houses, my second year in this business. I was called into the corporate office by the late Ken D'Angelo, the founder of HomeVestors, and he asked me to speak to the Dallas Ad Council. Because while I bought 111, the closest franchise to us that actually advertised more had only bought 75 or 77. And they wanted to know what I was doing different. And so I went in, and we at HomeVestors, we share with each other. We believe there's enough for everyone. I said, well, I'm not lazy. I never got invited back as a buyer to talk to the franchisees because I had 10 old dogs kind of looking at me like, you little arrogant punk. But it's the truth. I'm not lazy. Work. Chris and I were talking earlier. Work. Get up in the morning and work. You got a family, you know what? Get home from 6 to 9 o'clock, stop working, spend time with your family, put your cell phone in the bedroom, tuck them in, go watch a movie with your wife, whatever. But by God, if you're not tired, or if you're not 80 and you got to sleep, go work again. Get up in the morning at 5:30, go work out. Hey, in real estate, here's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. Get as much work you can get done before 9 a.m. You know why? Everyone else is still asleep. Everyone else in this business is sound asleep. I love 9 a.m. because by the time 9 a.m. runs around, I'm pretty much done with my work. People call me and I'm like, yeah, what's up? They're like, I'm having a problem. Oh, well, I'll take care of it. Because I'm prepared. I'm ready to work. Because I'm eventually ready to retire. It's not when I'm 75 or 80. I'll never retire. I'll start buying a commercial or something. But I could retire. So, if you're interested, I'm going to be down in Orange County with Carn Hall next weekend at the Wyndham, Avenue of the Arts Wyndham. All day, 8:30 to 5:30 or so. It's like $99. If you want to come, you can pay me today for $50, and it's for you and a guest. I feed you lunch. It's all content. Again, I can't say anything that's back in the room anyway because it's against the law. So you're more than welcome to come down if you want to find out about it. I'll be around here until about 3 o'clock. Make sure slides at timharris.com. You send an email. I ain't sending it today. You're not going to get the slides tomorrow. You're not going to get them Monday. By Tuesday morning, they will be in your inbox. Okay? Everybody say okay. Okay. Because don't be that guy that calls my office at 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow and leaves a message. I ain't got the slides yet, and I emailed yesterday during the presentation. I don't work on Sunday. So, thank you for your time. Andrew, I'm sorry for going into your time, but they started me late. So, all you, Tim.
Jim,
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, hey, if you've ever played cash flow, this is like cash flow for a rehabber. If you've had a bad rehab project recently, you don't want to play this. Because there's little things like you'll be rolling the dice and it's congratulations you had a sewer leak. And someone like me, it makes me want to have more beer. So.
Why don't you ask a question and whoever answers it correctly will win the game.
What color is a type A individual in my personality type?
Red.
What's your middle name?
One more question and you have to raise your hand so I can see who raises their hand first.
What do I do in my free time?
Feed your family.
Drink beer. I like his answer. Coach football. He said coach football. Coach football.
Coach football?
That's what I do.
Okay.
That's why I work so hard. I love to coach my kids' team, and we win.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Are they on break, or is Andrew going to roll straight into it?
We're going to take a quick little break here just to let us
Yeah, because he's an hour and 15 minutes, right?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
Well, I had 3 hours.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to take a quick break, get him set up, then we'll come back. We'll give you a chance to maybe open up the doors, get a little fresh air in here because it's
Okay.
got to close it off with it's noisy out there. And then we'll be back. And Tim has a vendor booth outside there, so if you want to speak with Tim, please go out there and look for his vendor booth. And
oh yeah, we have so much in common. It's great. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So thank you, man. That was terrific. How are you? Dan?